Stop for a second. Look around. No matter how smart and technological our world may seem, its foundations are stuck in the 19th century. We are connected. We are tethered. Everything we use, from the tiny phone in your pocket to the gigantic factories, runs on energy delivered by wires. A fragile web that spans the entire planet but can be cut at any moment. A system that demands endless resources, pollutes the air, and creates geopolitical conflicts. Oil, coal, gas, these are not just fuels. They are the lifeblood of our civilization, for which we are willing to fight. This is our world, and it is this way only because in the early 20th century, one man who could have changed everything was left without support. Nikola Tesla. His name has become synonymous with genius, a man who saw the future like no one else. He didn't just invent, he changed the very fabric of reality. It was he who stood behind the victory of alternating current in the war of currents against Edison's direct current. His coils could light lamps at a distance, and his inventions in radio were so revolutionary that Marconi, who received a Nobel Prize, was eventually forced to admit his authorship. His mind was his main laboratory. He could mentally design and test a machine before building it. But his greatest idea was both the simplest and the most destructive. Tesla believed that electricity was a fundamental force of nature that should belong to everyone. His greatest dream was to give the world free wireless energy. He planned to create a world wireless system, and its heart was to be the Wardenclyffe Tower. This tower was not just a transmitter. It was meant to be an entry point into a global system that would use the Earth itself as a gigantic conductor. Through it, Tesla intended to excite so-called standing waves in the ionosphere in the ground. The energy sent into the Earth could be extracted at any point on the planet using a simple receiver. With this system, he wanted to transmit not only electricity, but also information, creating a global network that would make the world a single whole. To make this dream a reality, Tesla turned to one of the most powerful men of the time, the financier J.P. Morgan. He received $150,000, a huge amount to start. But when Morgan realized the true nature of the project, his face changed. He asked where he would put the meter. Tesla replied that a meter was not needed because the energy would be free. At that moment, everything changed. For Morgan, the architect of the financial world, a project that generated no profit was not only useless, it was dangerous. Free energy would have destroyed the entire existing business model. He pulled the funding, the dream died. The tower, which was meant to be a beacon for all humanity, was dismantled for scrap in 1917 to pay off debts. But let's take a step to the side, into another reality where J.P. Morgan is a visionary, where he saw not a loss of profit, but an opportunity to create a completely new world. He gave Tesla not $150,000, but unlimited funding. And so the year 1907 arrives. The night of the first global energy transmission. The tower worked. Energy became the property of all humanity, and the world was changed forever. The 1920s arrive. This is not the roaring 20s of jazz, but the era of the silent dawn. Cities become clean and bright, without wires, without smoking chimneys. Electricity powers not only light bulbs, but all industry, all of life. People are no longer dependent on coal or oil. The Great Depression never happens because industry prospers and energy for manufacturing goods is almost free. In the 1940s, instead of a world war, the world experiences a technological revolution. Scientists, freed from energy problems, focused on breakthroughs in medicine, materials science, and aeronautics. The first prototypes of personal flying vehicles, powered by wireless energy, appear. The world as we know it never existed. Free energy provided a momentum that took humanity to a new level. In the 1960s, instead of a Cold War, the world united to explore space. Rockets, powered by wireless energy, took people to the moon and then to Mars. The first colonies are established in cities on Mars and the moon, entirely dependent on energy transmitted from Earth. In medicine, scientists with unlimited resources were able to conquer many diseases. An era of clean ecology begins, where electric vehicles and public transport replaced internal combustion engines, and the air in cities becomes as clean as in the mountains. Global cooperation, not conflicts, becomes the norm. The lack of a need to fight for oil and other resources leads to peace and prosperity. We became a civilization focused on creation and exploration. But we don't live in that world. We live in a world where the Wardenclyffe Tower is just a forgotten historical fact, where we still fight for oil, where the air above our cities is still thick with soot, where electricity bills are rising, and climate change is becoming an existential threat. Why? Because profit was more important than progress. Because the vision of one man, which could have saved civilization, was drowned out by the voice of greed. Tesla's dream died, but the lessons we must learn remain. How often in history have great ideas been cast aside for the sake of short-term gain? How often has humanity turned its back on a future that was already at its doorstep? This video is not just a story, it is a warning and a call to action. We cannot go back to the past, but we can change the future. If we remember these missed opportunities, we will not miss the next one. Subscribe to Quantum Chronicles to see other worlds that could have been and to explore the fascinating paths we didn't take. Join us as we uncover the secrets of history and imagine a different tomorrow.